Hey guys, this is Valentina Palladino for Ars Technica, and today I'm here with a new wearable. This is the Withings Steel HR. This came out late last year, and it's probably the most comprehensive device that Withings has come out with. It keeps that kind of watch-like design that everybody knows Withings has. Since the original Activité, which was a couple of $100s, they've had this type of watch design, which has been really great. But inside is a heart rate monitor, and it can track all the regular activities that any Withings wearable can. So it starts at $179, but I have the $199 version. I spent a little bit of time with it, and I've compared it to similar devices. So let's talk about some of the good things and the bad things about the Steel HR. So one of the really good things about the Steel HR is its design. This looks very similar to any other Withings watch that you may have seen. And that's because they keep it very simple when they're designing their wearables. As you can see, it's pretty thin, and I have the Misfit Phase here to compare it to. And I have to say, I really like the Withings design even better for a couple of reasons. One, because it's thinner, and it also has a heart rate monitor in it, but which the Phase does not, so that kind of tells you something there. And it's made of stainless steel and mineral glass. And also, I do like the face a little bit better as well. Misfit was a little bit more minimalistic, and that's always been their style. But with Withings, they have this kind of bottom dial here that will show you your percentage of your daily step goal, like how far you've gone already. And on the top here, you have a mini OLED display. It's very clear, it's very simple, and it's also pretty stylish too. And it has this kind of soft touch silicone band that makes it really easy to adjust the fit for whether you're just wearing it or if you're wearing it to track a workout. Another good thing about the Steel HR is the OLED display. So this can receive smartphone notifications, and it does so via the OLED display. And as you can see now, as I'm tapping on the side button, you're kind of scrolling through my activity stats, the alarm that I have set, and all that kind of stuff, and the battery life. So you have basically essential information on the OLED display whenever you want it. But when you do receive a smartphone notification, you can get call, text, and calendar alerts to your watch. And I really like the OLED display because it kind of is the best of both worlds. You get the analog display here and a second analog dial for your activity percentage, but with the OLED display you can still receive concise notifications, so you're not really guessing about what you're getting, who's calling you, anything like that. With Misfit's Phase, the notifications are way more discreet and way more subtle. That uses a color changing window, and the hands on the watch change. So you kind of have to remember what you set for which contact. With this, there's none of that. You'll see the name of the person contacting you on the OLED display. You won't see the message if it is a text message because there's not a lot of room for that. But you'll at least be able to see who's calling you, who's contacting you. And for calendar alerts, you'll be able to see the name of the event and the time of it. So the last good thing about the Steel HR is its battery life. So this is continuous heart rate with its heart rate monitor, so it'll take your heart rate every couple of minutes throughout the day. And with that enabled, you can still get up to 4 days of battery life with this device. And I've gone way longer without even charging this. I've probably been wearing this around 5 or 6 days now, all throughout the day, tracking exercises and while I sleep, and it's only down to about 50%. So it really can last much longer than 4 days when you have continuous heart rate, but when you have that feature not enabled, it'll last at least 20 to 25 days. So that's pretty good. And if you can tell, I mean, if it lasts more than 4 days with heart rate on, without heart rate on, it'll probably last even longer than 25 days, I would assume. So it's got a great battery life, but you do have to recharge it every once in a while. It's not one of those coin cell batteries that you can replace. You do have to charge it, and it comes with a magnetic charger. So now on to the bad things about the Steel HR. Unfortunately, the optical heart rate monitor is not the best. It's also not the worst, but it's still not the best. So I found that when I'm just kind of lounging around, if I just woke up, my resting heart rate, things that don't require a lot of strenuous heartbeats, the heart rate monitor is pretty accurate. I would just take my pulse and it would be usually within 5 beats per minute of my own reading, and also the Apple Watch's reading if I was wearing both of them at the same time to test them out. But when I was tracking workouts, it was a little bit more inconsistent. Sometimes it would get up to the right level of the Apple Watch Series 2, which I use as my marker for accuracy because it is very accurate. But at its worst, it was at least 30 BPM off of the Apple Watch, as in lower. And a lot of heart rate monitors kind of fall into that trap where they're lower than your actual heart rate because they have a hard time keeping up with such high heart rates. But at its best, it did come within 5 to 10 BPM of the Apple Watch, which isn't terrible, but it's still not the best. The next not so good thing about the Steel HR is the fact that you can only get call, text, and calendar alerts to the OLED display. So yes, it'll kind of flash when you get an alert. The watch will vibrate, so that's all well and good. But compared to something like Misfits Phase, it doesn't give you a lot of options to do other kind of social media apps, whether it be WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, things like that. You have way more options to get notifications delivered to your wrist through the Phase. So I kind of wish that you were able to use different apps rather than your phone's default messaging, call, and calendar apps. So I would like to see that kind of improve going forward. So it is a little bit limited right now. So the final not so good thing about the Withings Steel HR is its price, in my opinion. So there are two different sizes. There's a 36mm case and a 40mm case, and I have the 40mm case on right now. The 36mm is $179 and the 40mm is $199. In my opinion, I think that's a little bit too high, especially considering that the heart rate monitor is not the best. If the heart rate monitor had been perfect, I maybe would have forgiven the price a little bit, but I think that both of them, both the 36mm and the 40mm, would probably be better if they were priced at $179, both of them. So that would be the only other ding I'd give to the Steel HR. It's a decent device. The one thing that holds me back from purchasing it would be the inaccuracies and the inconsistency of the heart rate monitor. If you're someone who doesn't do a lot of strenuous exercise and you kind of just want to monitor your heart rate throughout the day, this is a really great product because you don't have to worry about checking your heart rate. You can take manual readings whenever you want just by pressing the side button and scrolling to the heart rate screen. So if you want that, you have it, but the device will monitor your heart rate throughout the day without you doing anything. So if you're just kind of curious what your resting heart rate is, how that changes over time, what your regular heart rate is throughout the day, this would be a decent device. However, it doesn't really leave a lot of room to grow if you do want to start doing strenuous exercise and tracking it with this, because it's not going to always be able to keep up with those high BPMs. So, otherwise, it's a very good device in terms of battery life, design, the OLED display for smartphone notifications. It has a lot of really good things wrapped into it, but the heart rate monitors would stop me from buying it.